this meeting to order. The board meeting for February 13, 2025 is St. Tammany Parish School Board. Ms. Coakley, will you please call the roll?
As soon as I get to the right screen, sorry. Okay. Mr. Green?
Here.
Ms. Hanson? Here. Ms. Rutherford? Here. Ms. Fauntleroy? Mr. Harrell? Here. Ms. Martin? Here. Ms. Moore? Here. Dr. Peterson? Ms. Baker? Here. Ms. McCollum? Here. Ms. Lamy? Here. Ms. Hurstis? Here. Mr. Breaux? Here. Mr. Kuzan? Ms. Rufino Gallagher? Here.
Thank you. Ms. Lamy will lead our invocation and pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for getting us here tonight safely. Lord, thank you for your hedge of protection around each and every one of us, around our schools, our faculty, staff, students, and families. Lord, thank you for the men and women on this board that show up to be servant leaders, that truly care about our system, care about our employees, and care about our students. We want to do what's best to serve all of them. I ask that you give us wisdom and discernment tonight as we make decisions. Please bless everyone getting home, and thank you for your love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would any board members like to recognize visitors? Ms. McCollum?
Thank you, Mr. President. Am I on the right? I'm on the right mic. I just want, I'm not recognizing any visitors, but I just want to share some information. Several board members met this past week with the St. Tammany Legislative Delegation. It was actually 5 of the representatives and 2 of the senators. We had a phenomenal meeting with them. Mr. Jabia gave an outstanding presentation, as well as Dr. Langlois. The rest of Mr. Jabia's staff was in attendance, too, of the assistant superintendents. And I would just say that probably this may be the first time, am I wrong in saying this, Mr. Jabia, that some of the legislators shared with me and Ms. Martin as well, I'm sure, that they had never had a meeting like that where our administrative team shared our goals and our strategic plan, our successes that we've had and the progress we've made in our district, as well as our challenges. And it was just a great meeting of open communication. I believe we have set a wonderful collaboration tool there. One of the senators shared with me, one of the representatives and one of the senators shared with me afterwards that they wanted to have this type of meeting on a regular basis. And they gave us some challenges to, some plans to put together, and it's some big challenges, but we want to do it, and they want to help us in every way possible that they can. Of course, knowing that sometimes we won't always agree, which we understand that, but we do need an open communication and collaboration with them to where they feel they can talk with us and we feel we can talk with them. And that was very well established in that meeting. I was just thrilled. I was extremely excited about it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Deborah. Ms. McCollum. Mr. Breaux?
Yes, I would like to recognize my wife who just snuck in. 30 years total teaching, I believe, with chemistry, high school teacher, and retired now. In addition, I'd like to thank the Whispering Forest Elementary. Last week when I got here, I received a packet of 15 handwritten, hand-designed cards for school board appreciation, and they were very nice and well done, and I want to thank the Whispering Forest Elementary students who put that together for me.
Baker?
I just want to give a shout out to Madisonville Elementary for Mrs. Hanson and I had the opportunity to go out there today, and I want to say congratulations to all the kiddos. They did an outstanding job on all their doors, and it was an honor and a pleasure to go out there and visit with them and see all their doors. Thank you so much for having us out.
Ms. Hanson?
Thank you, President Green. And yes, it was wonderful. And if you just have any doubt as to what our little bitties are learning, just, go with the principal, walk through the halls of the schools, and you will see their writing is amazing for these little first graders, pre-K students too, writing. Anyway, I do also want to recognize the Covington High School Marching Band, the Dancing Darlings, the Golden Silks, and the cheerleaders. They had the great honor of representing St. Tammany Parish Public Schools and St. Tammany Parish as a whole in participating in the Super Bowl parade, the first ever Super Bowl parade that had both teams in it. So whether you're a Chiefs fan or the Fly Eagles Fly fan, you got to be in the parade, and they had a great time representing us, and they did this on Saturday. So thank you to their band director, Neil Nakhan, and their principal, John Boudreau, and all the sponsors and parents who walked with them. Thanks for showing us so well.
Yes, it was great.
I wasn't here last week, so I'd like to thank this week for Abney Elementary for surprising me with some beautiful thank you cards in red, white, and blue, because I know how patriotic I am. And they surprised me with some thank you, and they're all in little hearts for last month for school board appreciation. So thank you so much.
Ms. Gallagher?
I just want to say congratulations to the boy at Rebelettes who placed first place in 5 categories at their Mardi Gras dance competition and third place in another. The Little Oak Color Guard who took third place in their first ever competition in the Color Guard. And I am going to be a little selfish this evening and congratulate North Shore High School, both Keith Collins Jr. and my daughter Emma. They were selected as Player of the Week, Athlete of the Week for last week. So congratulations to them. And unfortunately, we don't have anybody from St. Tammany Parish in the semifinals of the soccer playoffs. Sorry.
Back to you, Ms. Baker.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I just wanted to give a big shout out to Queen Marie Pennington for being the queen of the crew of Trifuncta in our little bitty town of Madisonville, who is also a 30-year teacher and teacher of the year at Madisonville Junior High School. So congratulations to her, and that's a big honor for the town of Madisonville as well.
Ms. Rutherford? Ms. Moore?
I was reminded by Christy that this is our last meeting before Mardi Gras, and the students from Chattaima are planning a wonderful parade at the school, although we have very limited drive and walkway to go through to get around it, but we're looking at some possible remedies. Our fire department, our previous superintendent, Mr. Pete Jabby will be in it, Mr. Willie Jeter, Ms. Kay Fortenberry, our councilman, Mr. Impastato. So we have a lot of great people that are going to be our marshals and help the kids celebrate right before the holidays. Thank you.
Ms. Rutherford?
I would just like to say thank you to the Lions principal, Ms. Fashon and Ms. Mills, and the students at Lyon for recognizing me for school board, being their school board member for appreciation with a nice gift. And I would like to congratulate the Mandeville High School cheerleaders who went to Disney and performed at the UCA national competition, and they did great. They, let me see how they scored. The varsity co-ed non-tumble, I think they placed second in their division. And so congratulations to all of them, including Matt's daughter, Mr. Green's daughter, and Lori Bucola, who is the teacher moderator. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Our superintendent update?
Thank you, Mr. Green. Appreciate it so much. I'd like to start tonight. We're going to recognize a student. She has some really cool information that I think this board is going to find really, really interesting. Rhett from Channel 13 went out and did a special on Beja. So let's take a look at a video about Beja Lopes Morgan. Beja.
Hi, my name is Beja Lopes Morgan, and I'm the sole student representative to Bessie in Louisiana. Bessie stands for the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, and they govern all public schools in Louisiana. So there's 8 members of Bessie elected by constituents, and then 3 appointed by the governor. So to be able to work with them and represent all of Louisiana students, it's a really big honor, and I'm very excited.
It's not only a statewide position, but she is the representative for students across the entire state.
Hi, Mr. Esker.
Hey, Beja, good morning. How are you? So she's from Mandeville, but she's representing the students from St. Tammany Parish all the way up through Caddo and Bossier Parish and every place in between.
You find out at a general session at LASC, so everyone's sitting in the audience. So all the student councils in Louisiana are sitting in an auditorium. It was a total shock. I was sitting in the front row. I was absolutely shocked. It was great. It was crazy.
You know, it says a lot about Beja, and it's a tremendous honor for her and for us to have her as part of our school community.
I'm very blessed to say that I've had an incredible experience here at Mandeville High, and I just want to ensure that all public students have the same experience in their schools.
So I would love for Beja to come up and kind of explain to everyone how she got picked to lead the entire state. She is the student representative on the Bessie board. She will be sitting up there at the meetings that I attend. So Beja, please come tell us all about it, please.
Hi, everyone. First, I want to give a big shout out to Rhett and Mr. Javia for spotlighting. When they reached out and said they wanted to film me, I was really happy. I was really shocked. So it was awesome. So I've always been interested in education, and I've worked through our student council at Mandeville. I'm currently our executive board president. And then I also represent our district too. So this isn't just St. Tammany Parish, but it also encompasses Washington and Tangipahoa. I'm their vice president. But I really became interested with legislation, and I thought Bessie was a great way. So through student councils, every year we have a convention, and it's called the Louisiana Association of Student Councils. And at that convention, they choose one student out of the whole state to represent Bessie. So the process started back in November. I had to write an essay, recommendations, transcript, and then at the actual convention in January, I had an interview with Bessie members as well as student council advisors from across the state. And at that convention is where they announced me. So my official title is State Student Representative to Bessie, so I'm the only student representative in the state. I will serve on Bessie's Academic Goals and Instructional Improvements Committee, and I will attend all Bessie meetings in Baton Rouge as well as some other Department of Education meetings. My first meeting is on March 11th, and I'm very excited. That's when I'm formally inducted and the former state representative passed off the title to me. I just want to thank Mandeville High School. I want to thank my principal, Mr. Munson, my counsel, Mr. Esker, my family, and everyone who supported me. It's a really big honor to be able to represent our parish and all Louisiana public school students. I'm very excited for this position.
Beja, we are so super happy. You know, we talk about that board a lot at these meetings. And just be careful what's said. And I know that a couple board members maybe want to ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Of course.
That would be awesome.
Of course.
Screen, I don't know how y'all want to do that.
I have the cue.
I'll start on
It's
the
all right.
left and we'll work our way around. But Ms. Gallagher?
Is it just for the whole school year, just 1 year, or does it until you get out of high school? I don't know what grade you're in.
Yeah, so I'm a junior, so it's for 1 year. So it's consecutively March to next March. So March of 2026 is
Okay.
when I will leave. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, sir, they do. They pay for all transportation, hotel fees, anything like that.
Are you thinking about getting into political science in college?
Yes, ma'am. I think I am interested in political science, definitely. Aside from Bessie, I also represent our district on the Louisiana Legislative Youth Advisory Council, so I do have some experience with the legislative process, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in pursuing.
Good. You're on the right track.
Thank you.
I think you're the whole package. I cannot wait to follow you. I'm very interested. I saw you Saturday night. You were stunning.
Oh, thank you so
much. Not only are you,
Thank you.
brains, but you're also beauty.
Oh,
Because you were a maid in that ball. So, and then when Representative Kim Carver came to the school, you were very engaged and asking very, very awesome questions. And I mean, I hope you do take that to your student body and follow that bill. Who was, well, you were there, and that you actually follow a bill from start to finish?
Start to finish.
Start to
Yeah,
finish.
what Mr. DeVilliers said, yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
I can't wait to watch you and see where you go and where you take this. And I'm very interested in you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
the whole package,
That means
baby.
so
You
much
keep
to me.
going. Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Mhm.
Beja, congrats. I'm one of your biggest fans. So is Allie Grace. And, you know, if you ever want to talk about Bessie, you know, you can always come over and we can
Yes,
chat.
definitely.
But I know you'll represent us well. And Beja is also the student council president as a junior, which I think is, you know, I don't remember that really happening very much. So anyway.
That is wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I want to say congratulations, Beja. I was impressed when we went that day to Mandeville High, and you were speaking with Speaker of the House, Phil DeVilliers, and I was quite impressed, but now I'm even more impressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, this little girl has a way to go. So good job.
Thank you so much.
Beja, thank you so much.
Thank you all so
I'm
much.
just looking forward to building a great relationship with you. You do a great job. Would Beja's family please stand and be recognized? Thank you all for coming to Slidell and coming to hang out with us. I know y'all are very proud, and we're very proud too. So thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Beja, thank you so much.
Thank you all
dear.
so much. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate all your
Thanks
support
for
and
coming
all
all the
y'all
way
do.
to the Dell. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
You certainly have our support.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beja. Also tonight, we would like to recognize, you know, our school crossing guards do a tremendous job. They promote so much safety. They do so much, not only directing traffic in and out of school, but our pedestrians, our student walkers, and our families that walk their kids to school. So let's check out a little video about our school crossing guards.
Arrival and dismissal on any given campus are probably the two most crucial times during the day where you need to have all hands on deck, protocols and systems in place to ensure the safety of your students and faculty and staff as they arrive or dismiss from your campus. Having a crossing guard to help do that with your car line is vital to ensuring safety of your students and the families coming onto campus.
Our crossing guard and crossing guards across the parish really are the first people that some people see when they drive up to school as teachers arrive. And so they really set the tone for that first person that you see on campus. They set relationships, they see the same people each day, and it's just a great way to start our day, knowing that they're there.
You know, every day you come out and, you know, it's not gonna always be as expected. So you have to be able to be prepared to, you know, expect the worst or the best. But for the most part, a lot of the times it's very fun. it's uplifting. You uplift other people, you know, and you just have a good time.
Well, yeah, I love the people. I mean, the people are a blast. Every one of them has a smile on their face when they come by. Most of them anyway, unless I tell them to slow down. It's just being out there, meeting a lot of different people on the roads. People just slow down, wave, and say, hey, how you doing, and things like that. And so it's just get to be a lot of fun.
We love our crossing guards.
We are truly blessed. We really are. Ray Lynn that's in that video, if you're ever going down past Mag Trace, she is smiling, she is happy, she is so kind, she's waving at everybody. I mean, if you got your window, I mean, I've talked to her many days I come by. She is, I'm telling you, for somebody that's out in all elements, whatever it's like, hot, cold, raining, whatever, she has the best attitude. So we are truly blessed. We're surrounded by so many amazing people, so it is an honor to have her. With transition to that, I want to remind everyone that we are partnering again with the Emma Bell Savoy Safe Pathways to School. Remember that on February the 26th, we encourage everyone to wear yellow. Emma Bell was the student that was tragically killed in Carline here in Slidell a couple years ago. I've known their family. Her dad was a student of mine, so I've known them for a very long time. So just transition. I'm on that task force with them, and we've done so many things to make our car line safer, our dismissal safer, and a lot of that is because of the work we've done with that task force and the work we've done with Senator Owens, who was in the meeting with us that we had just recently. So we've done a tremendous amount of work to make our school, those zones, much safer because we have to learn from that event. It didn't happen on our property, but an accident like that can happen anywhere at any time. So we've got to be really, do our due diligence, and we do that. So just to kind of partner with that, I'll put a reminder out. February 26th will be Wear Yellow Day for Emma Bell. Emma Bell Savoy. Yes, ma'am. Also, I had a chance to attend this week, 2 days, on Monday morning and this morning. I was able to go to the Motor Gras that we were holding at Pelican Park. We do so much for our SWE students to help our students that are in our RNC classes that have so many challenges on a daily basis. Just something to help them smile, something to help them look forward to. And we're just surrounded by so many great paras and teachers that help our students in this event. And of course, our AP teachers that do a tremendous job. So let's check out a little video about our Motor Gras that's been going on this week. Motor Gras is just an amazing event. We're able to bring our kids into an amazing environment, give them a chance to compete, play games, enjoy their typical peers, and just enjoy a day out, and then invite our Mardi Gras crews to come in and experience a little Mardi Gras parade with them. It's just an opportunity they can't get on a campus.
It is huge for our elementary students to be able to participate in community events. And what is the best way to do it? By celebrating Mardi Gras. So we are incorporating gross motor skills into Louisiana-themed Mardi Gras activities.
It's excellent. We get a chance to interact with the kids, and this is our way of giving back to the community.
We like to get our communities involved, so every day we have a different local Mardi Gras crew coming and leading our second line experience.
We find it extremely important. We base our organization on local community involvement and knowing the work that Frankie and his team and all of these volunteers do every year for these kids. It's extremely important for us as an organization to give back to these kids.
Every day they had a different group of Mardi Gras, a different crew that would come in and lead the parade and hang around and pass out their throws and do some things with kids. And these organizations do a tremendous amount of community service. And Chris, the guy that you just saw, Chris Sturkin, I was in that parade. They had me as a Grand Marshal last year. They were the Monday guests, and they rolled tomorrow night here in Slidell. So just a great group of people, and our AP teachers do an amazing job. And our paras and teachers that were there working with these kids, so many of these kids, like I said, they have so many challenges. We were just talking up earlier, I was talking to Dr. Langlois. These kids, I mean, truly, they just to give them something, and their families were there taking pictures and just seeing these kids participate in events like typical students do on a daily basis. So it was really a cool event. I just want to thank the APE department for truly sponsoring these events for our kids. They just truly are amazing events. You want to go ahead and put up those dates for me, Rhett? So as Kim talked about the other day, remember that pre-K registration is starting on Tuesday, the 18th. Remember, pre-K is completely separate from K through 12. Those are allotted seats by the state of Louisiana. We only have so many seats, and she talked to you guys about that last week. But that is on the 18th, and that application will open up at 5 o'clock, and it will run, and it will stay open, and time and date stamps, everything going on. But our traditional students who are new to the district that are not pre-K, are the students that are going to be in kindergarten through 12th that are new. If you're currently enrolled, you're good. If you're currently enrolled, the JPAMS automatically rolls you to the next grade. All of that is done automatically. I'm talking about new students. So that, as you can see, that window is going to open up for anyone new to the district who's coming in, who was not currently enrolled. The first window is going to be March 10th to May 15th. That's all done online. The second window will open up when the registrars come back from their summer break. So you'll see it opens on July 24th, and it opens back up. And of course, in person is from July 29th to the 30th. So what happens is everyone, they submit their documents on the portal, and then the registrars, when they receive them, reach out to the families. If they're missing documents, if they weren't the correct documents, they reach back out to those families, get the right documentation submitted, or update what needs to be done so that they can process them, and then we can move them through the registration process. So again, remember, this is not for currently enrolled students in our district. These are for new students that did not attend St. Tammany Parish, and you can see that up there. We look forward to hosting them. We have it all on the website. Meredith and her team advertise that. The schools advertise it on their sites so that parents can see it, and that window is open for everyone to take advantage of those dates. So thank you for letting me advertise that for a second. Also, Ms. Gallagher talked about it. For your child to be recognized by NOLA.com as a North Shore Player of the Week is a huge deal. So as she said, her own daughter Emma and Keith Collins Jr. for being recognized as two students last week that did an amazing job. And I know she's disappointed. We all are disappointed. Unfortunately, our soccer teams across the entire parish were not successful in the quarterfinals. But they lost some very close games. North Shore got beat in overtime to the. She knows how I feel about the team they lost to, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But you know, our girls, our young men represent us so well, and we look forward to our basketball teams and moving into baseball and basketball. But truly, we want to recognize them for being Athlete of the Week, which is a tremendous, tremendous honor. So congratulations to Emma and Keith for a great accomplishment. And the last two things, we hosted Leadership St. Tammany. As you remember, last month we hosted Leadership North Shore, which is the east end of the parish. We hosted Leadership St. Tammany, the west end, this week. And it was amazing to make those connections. Tremendous group of people. They have a very large class. They have around 30 participants this year. Tremendous group of people, very connected in the community, and they want to learn so much about this parish, as does Leadership North Shore. And just to have those people there and to kind of make that connection was tremendous. So I appreciate Mayor Mark and his team bringing them over and learning about the school system and what we do, whether it be in central office for the entire school system and on our campuses as they went and toured our schools. So we appreciate them going out and learning more about our school system. And last thing, I got my green tie on this morning. I started my day this morning at 7:30 at Saddle High School. They had Captain Keefe was in town from the Navy for their annual inspection. and they did a tremendous job. They had about 10 cadets present what they've done over the course of their high school career, whether it be ROTC, academics, or extracurricular. They broke down all their events, their goals, their aspirations, what they bring to the group, what ROTC does. We probably had 50 parents there for our 8 o'clock meeting, which was absolutely amazing, and all the cadets. So I want to thank Coach Favre and everyone for having me there. They let me address the cadets and the families to start the event, so it was truly an amazing event. And we do those inspections across the entire school system, but it was great to be back at Slaughter High this morning to kick off my day. So, board members, that's all I got, and I appreciate you allowing me to give a little update.
Thank you, Mr. Jabby. Any questions from Mr. Jabby on his update? No. We'll move on to the next item. Before we move on, I wanted to give Beja and any other guests or visitors the opportunity to leave before we get into the business. You're gonna be sitting on plenty of boards meetings, so
Y'all go enjoy dinner. Bye, Beja. Bye, y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you.
The next items on our agenda are the consent agenda. Are there any members that wanted to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Ms. Hurstis?
Yes, I would like to remove, that would be item E, the revisions of school board policy DJED.
Okay.
Item E?
Item E.
Item E.
Okay. Any others? Then I'll read the consent agenda without item E and then consider a motion. Item A, item B, approval of minutes for the regular meeting held January 16, 2025. Item C, recommends acceptance of revisions to school board policy DFAA, industrial tax exemptions. D, recommends acceptance of revisions to school board policy DJE, purchasing. Item F, recommends acceptance of revisions to school board policy DJEF, professional services. G, recommends acceptance of revisions to school board policy DJEG, purchase orders. Item H, recommend acceptance of fiscal year 24-25 of federal and state budgets approved by the Louisiana Department of Education and local grant budgets. Item I, recommends acceptance of the parent low-base bid submitted by Steel R Development LLC in the amount of $347,600 for the termite damage repair at the gymnasium locker room at St. Tammany Junior High School, STPPS project number P0514. Item J, recommends acceptance of the proposed calendar for the 26-27 school year. Do I have a motion? Mr. Kuzan, do I have a second? Ms. Hanson, thank you. Any comments from the public? See none. Any from the board? None. Let's please vote on those items. And the consent agenda passes unanimously. So we'll move item E to the bottom of agenda item, or section 3 there. Okay. The next item is appropriate retirement resolutions for the following certified personnel subsequent to January 16, 2025. Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you, Mr. Green, Superintendent Jabby, and Board. Appropriate retirement resolution of the following certificated personnel subsequent to the January 16, 2025 meeting. Davalin P. O'Neill, Shadaima Elementary, 28.15 years, 11.15 years in St. Tammany Parish.
Ms. Lamy has that motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Moore, thank you. Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Please vote. That motion carries unanimously. Item B.
Appropriate retirement thank you again. Appropriate retirement resolutions on the following employee support services personnel subsequent to the January 16, 2025 meeting. Pamela S. Penton, Clearwood Junior High, 22.89 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Stacy C. Baudouin, Lake Harbor Middle, 15.06 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Connie M. Brown, Slidell High, 16.47 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Dominique Cazes III, Transportation Center, 6.82 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Robert Mitchell, Treen Technology Center, 17.25 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Thank you, Mr. Alfonso. Do I have a motion? Ms. Rutherford, do I have a second? Ms. Gallagher, thank you. Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Please vote. That motion carries unanimously. Item C is consideration of resolution appointing the superintendent to serve on the St. Tammany Parish ITEP Committee. Do I have a motion? Ms. Baker, do I have a second? Dr. Peterson, any comments from the public? Any from the board? Mr. Bro?
Thank you. We just passed a policy that said that it could be either the president or the superintendent, and now we're putting the superintendent in. I would like to at least put a time limit on it. I know right now it says forever until the board rejects it. I would like to put a one-year term. I understand you may not be interested in going as president, and that's fine, but the next president might be. And therefore, if we could just, and we just passed a policy that it should be either or, let the board have a vote on it every year. And I think that would be better than just putting it in there for once. We've had contentious issues in the past, and I don't think the superintendent should be in a position, he's subservient to the board. He shouldn't be in a position where he's alienating half the school board on any vote. So I personally think the president should do it, but at least let's put it in where we vote on it every year.
Yeah, I was not here last week, but I did watch. And just a point of clarity, like, where does this come from? Because when I watched, it seemed like it was the law. Like, this is what the governor's requiring us to do. And if it's not, I don't know why we're trying to pass this policy, because I didn't authorize to give up my authority to go in his place. And although I know that my opinion on it is that if we do ultimately agree to let the superintendent do that we should have a meeting concerning the ITEP and direct him on what we as the elected officials want to do. So can somebody clarify for me where this came from?
It's being required by the state. They're requiring it. So you have to delegate the authority for him to be on the committee.
For him or someone?
Or anyone. You could do the board. Most districts are doing the superintendent, but you could do the board president if you want.
They passed a law that required either the superintendent or the president to go to this meeting, but now they want us to designate either one of those.
As a voting member, the board president can always go. It's a public meeting. They can serve on the committee. I plan on going. I can be on the committee. I just don't vote.
Okay, so
this is the voting person you're going to appoint. So you can either appoint the president or the superintendent.
Okay.
Could you explain to us
Okay.
the process as far as
That's
the
fine.
governor is the
No.
You're going to have input, but whether he follows that input is the question. But that's the point of the committees. The committees will jointly decide, send a recommendation, and then it will be up to the governor and the LED to decide what they want to do.
Yeah, so Mr. Kuzan, the committee made up of all these elected officials in the parish can all vote to say, we're not in favor of this ITEP, and then the governor can say, well, I am, and too bad. Anybody else? Oh, sorry, Ms. Hanson?
Thank you. I completely understand what Mr. Bro is saying in that, as elected officials, and they're wanting an ITEP in the districts that we all represent, then there may be some disagreements on whether we should or shouldn't. The way I'm looking at this is that they can be, the board president, which could be changed possibly changed year to year. The superintendent's in a contract till the end of 2027, okay? Our CFO is going to be there, so they can always be there. The board president can refer to us and get our opinions on things, and I would think that the superintendent, knowing that he reports to us, would get consensus from his board president, who's spoken with us and has input from the CFO as to what is in the best interest of our district from a financial standpoint. So whereas I do understand what you're saying, I think for consistency's purposes, we need to have our superintendent, and if we don't like the direction he's voting in, then that's something we address with him.
It's my understanding that, and I've never done one of these, ITEPs were done prior to mine, me being in this position, and we haven't done one since I've been in. It is my understanding, talking with Mr. Massengill, that they're going to provide us with all the information, the application, and so that'll be plenty of time for us to have that discussion so that you guys can tell me what to do. This is not something I went looking for, trust me. I have other things
Make
to
a
do.
point of, it's a very short period we have to
Yes.
send it in, so
It's-
there may
it's a-
not be time.
Right.
And if they take a vote.
It's
and-
going to be, I will get it to you as soon as I get it. Let me
Would
say it
there
like
be a
that.
means in which, and that's what I'm saying, if there's a means in which, I know that we can't
Right.
have we can't have a discussion as a group because it
Right.
violates open meeting laws.
Right.
But if there's a means by which you can let us know, whether through email, and we can call you and talk to you, in my district, this is what I'm hearing, in this district, and that will be consistent from year to year, whether Mr. Green continues to be our board president or someone else is our board president. The consistency of the CFO and the
There's
superintendent.
nothing
That's
stopping
why I'm
this
leaning
board
towards that.
from discussing.
Exactly.
Like, we could make an ITEP a board agenda item before the committee meets and have we could express our opinions. I jumped Mr. Bro. Mr. Bro, did you want to amend this, which I would second, to include a time frame that coincides with the term of whoever's serving as president?
Yes, I don't have it in front of me, but yes, I think one of the paragraphs.
It's the last one. We can put that. We'll just put a one-year term in it, and we can put a date.
Then yes, I would like to amend it.
And I'll second that. That's
We can end it December 31st,
friendly
25.
amendment? Is that the easiest parliamentary? Will you accept the term limit? Yeah, okay.
It's section 2. What I'd recommend is,
I'm going to do what y'all tell me to do, so let me just be very clear.
I would recommend the term of this resolution authorization granted thereunder shall begin on February 14th, 25, and continue until December 31st, 25, and we can do it every January or February.
Perfect.
Yeah.
When the new officers are elected.
So it'll be year by year, and I'll just make a note that I need to bring it every time. Yes.
Fair enough. Okay, we have that amendment. Dr. Peterson?
I'm not going to go against the amendment, that's fine. I mean, just the 1 year.
Yes, sir.
My comments were just to reiterate what Ms. Hanson said. If we have our chief executive officer, he has relationships with other superintendents. That's going to be the predominant body of people that are there. And it just makes sense to have the superintendent there as opposed to any of us, which are transient in our roles. So the superintendent represents the schools. He's the chief executive officer. We've hired him, and I think that we'll find that that's the body of people that he's going to be dealing with. All right.
Ms. Lamy?
It really doesn't matter to me because, as Frankie said last week, I'm going to do whatever y'all tell me to do. However, I do want to say, and I know that he will, I mean, he's going to not make us mad on purpose, but I do feel that that is another thing on his plate when he has so much on his plate. And I feel like being that you're in business and that you've led the business side of this, I don't think it's a bad thing to have a different person there. Just like you said, the president might change yearly, the board's going to change, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Somebody coming in and listening to this ITEP for the first time, it's different from the last one. There doesn't need to be consistency. As far as if the other superintendents are all doing it, like I said, I give anything that I trust Superintendent Jabia 1,000%. However, Matt would bring a different mindset to that meeting. So either way, it would be fine. That's all I was going to say. I don't think that the need for consecutive, consistent is relevant here. I really don't. And since, like you said, we were elected, then the people that we elect as president, we're electing him to represent us as well. Yes, we hired the superintendent. We think he would do phenomenal, but I'm also trying to give him an out if he wants one.
Mr. Kuzan?
Initially, this came from the governor to us, right? Am I not correct? To the boards and to the local?
Yes, the local input began with the last governor, and it changed 2 times, and now it's been changed again. So before that, there was no input. The state was just giving these ITEPs, basically. So the governor added input from the locals. But it was different because our ITEP committee met, and we brought it back to you, and you voted, and you had a say in what got sent. This is different because the committee's going to decide. So we may vote against it, but the other members may not, and it's going to go as is. So you don't have a single voice as a school board.
Like Terry said, you couldn't cherry pick that, okay, the school system's not going to participate or is going to participate. The parish is or not. It's going to be one vote sent to the governor, and then it will move from that point forward.
Mr. Bro?
Yes.
It's an executive order. No. Right. Right. No, I meant in other districts. The resolutions I've seen, they appointed the superintendent, but if you want to, the board president's fine. I mean, the board president can always attend. Any of you could attend. It's a public meeting. But it's up to you if you want to change it to put the board president.
But this is just who the voting member is based on the
Right, you can
executive
still
order that
go.
says one of these 2 people has to go as a representative of the school
Right.
board. But who is the voting member? And
Right.
right now, we're saying he's going to be it.
Right.
It's a public meeting, so anybody can go. I intend to go, and I've never liked ITEPs, and I'll continue to express my objection to them. Ms. Gallagher?
Terry, could you remind me, so I know we talked about this last week. It's been a long week, but it says the parish president or the president of the police jury. Then it says the sheriff or his designee. So can it not just be, are we not saying that it's the do we have to say it's him, that he could give a designee, or is it only him if he can't
No,
make
there's
it?
no designee. It has to be either the superintendent or the board president, and this board has to appoint the voting member.
But, and I guess my question is, why does it say the parish president or this person, the sheriff or his designee? Why do we have to pick one person and not say the superintendent or his designee?
That's the way he wrote it.
That's what I'm saying. I forgot what the answer was last week, so I want to clarify, because a bunch of people weren't
right.
here.
Economic Development, who is running the committee, who establishes the committee and sets it up, they're the ones that provided this, that we had to have a resolution. This was not something that this did not originate from this administration. It came directly from Economic Development.
The parish president does not have a designee,
Oh, I'm
by the
sorry,
way.
Ms.
It has to be
Martin's
him.
first. I was going the wrong order.
Yeah, yeah.
Ms. Martin?
All right, my turn. So question, did the original executive order from Landry, not the one before, did that one change? Because I guess I'm asking, where does it say, or was it amended to say, originally we said it could be the school board president or the superintendent, but now we've changed it to say, however, you have to designate which one it's going to be. Originally, we said it could be either, but did they go back and change this? Because it seems like this resolution, if I go back to the wording of the policy that we approved last week, and just approved, I think on the consent agenda. Well, the last, it doesn't say that. So did it change?
It's not in the executive order. They are telling us, they came late last week and told us, because there's an ITEP in the pipeline, we will have to meet soon, that we had to have a resolution or they would not accept what we do as a committee. So we have to have, I'm assuming they're probably requiring the parish to do it too, if there's an option. So you've got to decide who you want to be on the committee, so you're giving that person the authority to vote. And we have to send this resolution to LED. They're requiring that. They want it they said by mid-February, end of the month.
So is that just going to be something that happens every single time an ITEP comes up for consideration?
No, it's just a one-time.
That they're going to want to know who is going to be this ITEP, who's going to be our voting member?
This is just for the new provision. They want it, who's going to be appointed. Now, if we changed it, we'd probably have to, if you went back and forth, you'd have to send it to them, so they're aware. They want to know who the proper people and that we're complying with the executive order.
So I think there's confusion because I think we would like to see that, right? So what we've already approved as a policy that pretty much mirrors the executive order, right? It doesn't say that, but now we're being told something different that isn't included in that. So
Right, but they set the regulations and the guidelines, and we have to follow them. So they're going to.
if we could see that.
You got an email, like if you got an email.
We would like to see.
They didn't send it by email. They called the St. Tammany Corp. They called me. I called LED to ask them why, and they told me why. So they said we need to do a resolution and get that to them.
And I
Other
can have
school
Chris
districts have
Massingill
done
come
it.
to the next meeting. He offered to come to this meeting after it passed at committee. I said, Chris, I don't think we need you to come. I could have had Chris Massingill here. I can have him come to the next meeting. That's who instructed us to do this. This is not something I want. I didn't go looking for this. So this was sent, Chris sent this to Christie to put it as a resolution for this board to vote on. This was created by them.
Well, I hope you can understand our confusion, though, because.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because it's hard to say, well, you have to follow this rule, but I'm not going to show you where it's written down.
Sure.
I haven't looked in their specific guidelines for that particular clause, but I can look at that.
That would be great.
I have them with me. I haven't looked where, it's long. It's like 40 or 50 pages.
But if,
But they're telling me we need to do it.
we can amend this to make it the school board president. I'll be happy to serve on that committee and vote how this board wants us to. If what I'm being told is we have to select somebody as the voting member, it'd be nice if that was in an email rather than a phone call chain. But if we have to vote on, there's only one voting member, whether it's the school board president or the superintendent. So whether we pass a policy that it's me or him, I'm okay with either way.
Well, and wait, I'm actually not finished. Let me finish.
I'm sorry, Ms. Martin.
So I don't mind either way either, because I think that Superintendent Jabby is going to definitely come up to us and say, hey, guess what? There's an ITEP application that, all of those things. And we would talk about it at a meeting. It's the confusion, like, that I stated before. So I think maybe it would be.
I have it. So in their guidelines, it says, the president of the school board or the superintendent of the school board as elected by resolution of the school board. It's in the guidelines. So it's in writing.
Okay, but.
It's in their provisions, their register where they have the
Okay,
rules.
so
for
that would have been helpful to see.
Right, well, I didn't look and see that was in there, to be
So
honest.
maybe I would support Mr. Bro's amendment to be able to change it.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Mr. Harrell?
Thank,
Time frame, yes, correct. So that way, if we ever wanted to.
I would also support a friendly amendment since our president expressed interest that he be our representative.
If that's what the majority of this board wants, I'll be happy
Go right
to serve
ahead.
in that capacity.
Go right ahead.
I've never voted for one of these yet, so if you guys, you may be sending the ticking time bomb. Mr. Harrison?
Microphone. So this is just designed to help the debate, but realize you're passing a resolution. So presuming everything to be 100% accurate as outlined. Terry just read the email, just was observing that if you were to say, pick the superintendent this evening, pass the resolution, and then either gather more information, you could pass another resolution in March appointing the board president. It doesn't actually matter. You see what I'm saying? The resolution does not carry any weight of law. It's your choice. So you could make it a year, but without it, you could do it whenever you want. That make sense?
Sure.
Now, you could also pass one that said the board president and appoint the superintendent next month. It's your choice. So what he read was it's your choice.
ITEP, we can decide who wants to go to the committee.
No, they were saying you just pick one.
Yeah, I get it. Mr. Harrell?
Thank you for letting me have the floor finally. To answer Ms. Gallagher's comments, I know originally when we did this 3 years ago, was the last time we did it, the person requesting the ITEP had to go to every governing body and basically beg for our vote to support it. So I think from why the sheriff is sheriff or designee is because there is no board supporting the sheriff that was elected. Whereas the parish council, the school board have elected boards. They would come, and then it's also, if I remember correctly, all three had to vote in favor for it to pass. So if the school board didn't vote in favor, then the sheriff wasted their time, the parish council wasted theirs, and it didn't pass. So I think this is streamlining that process so that they didn't have to go 3 different nights to beg for votes and support. They could go to one place, talk to that one person, but I don't think it's set up to where, I mean, Mr. Jabby, if he goes, he could let us know what's on the ITEP and what they're looking for, but we still won't have time to vote and tell him, direct him on how to go. So we almost have to leave it up to whoever attends the meeting to make that decision for us. Now, I'm sure Ms. Terry will be there and analyze the numbers and tell us whether or not it's a good deal for us or not. But the way this reads is that it will be, you know, a 3 or 4 person vote, and they know if they get the ITEP that night. It's not a multi-week process of attending and getting on multiple meetings. It really speeds it up. The way I read it is we could have it, you know, we could change this every month and pass a new resolution on who goes. So I really don't think it really matters who goes, because we're just going to have to trust their opinion. And Matt, you didn't vote for one, so.
Hanson.
Just to follow up, Mrs. Hanson, that's okay. Did my husband come? I just want to recognize my husband. No. Mr. Jabbia, would you plan on being at every one of these ITEPs, whether you are the voting member or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Perhaps I used the wrong word in saying consistency. What I see is that when these ITEPs come up, and I don't know how often they'll come up, they may come one a year, they may come one every 4 years, who knows? But what I see is that, you know, I would think that the board president would want to be there whether or not they have the final voting say or not. And others of us would want to be there. In terms of, I was going to mention what our attorney had said, the resolution does not have to have a time period. If in 2 months from now we say, I don't like the way Mr. Jabby is doing this, we come back, have another resolution, send it into the state. State has to say, oh, this person is the person this time, okay? In terms of consistency, if we know that the superintendent is going to be in his role to the end of his, you know, at least through the end of his contract, the board president may change from year to year. We can change the resolution from year to year, but the superintendent, having been there at all of the meetings, all the ITEP meetings, can look through it as fairness. Why did we grant this ITEP, but we didn't grant this one? And what we don't want to do is our business partners in our community saying, we're inconsistent in how we're granting ITEPs and how we're looking at ITEPs. And so that's why I was saying, let's start off with our superintendent. We can change it at any time because we have all we got to do is get Christie to put it on the agenda and we change the resolution. If we put a time period on it, we have to discuss this again next December 30th or whatever the date is. So that's why I'm saying if we can just vote on one tonight and then revisit it if and when necessary.
Carol?
Sorry to go again. Real quick, in the last 6 years, how many ITEPs have we awarded or voted on?
In my 4.5 years, we've not had one.
It's been about 6 years.
6.
Now, just to be clear, this is for manufacturing companies. We
Right.
don't have that many of these.
don't,
So
yeah.
we have one right now that's in, the application's in, and the process, the way it's going to work is they're going to decide if they're going to approve it at the state level. They're going to send a notice, and in 3 days of their approval, and then we have 15 days as a committee to set a public meeting, and then another 30 days to meet, and you have to send them your votes by 45 days. That's your period of time. Or it's no good, so.
But I guess not really, since we hadn't had one this term, we did have some the previous term that we served on.
Right, they were all manufacturing. We had Diversified Foods, that's the Popeyes
yep,
manufacturer.
okay.
We had Mealy Printing. We had
glass
Dependable
company?
Glass. We had, gosh, it's a company, something mechanics. All of them finished out, and I believe they're over. Their exemption was over.
Okay.
For their addition that they added. They had to add in some kind of addition that added jobs. Dependable lost theirs because they couldn't maintain the jobs during COVID, and Diversified lost theirs because you had to maintain the number of jobs you said would be created, and they couldn't do it because they couldn't get employees. So those ended. So the other two were the first couple, and I believe they're probably up now. So that's all we have.
Okay, I remember it wasn't many. I remember Diversified, Dependable,
Right.
and
Because we just don't
Relay,
have a lot of
and-
manufacturing in St. Tammany Parish.
Okay,
So-
that was it. Thank you.
Dr. Peterson?
I just, so Ms. Hanson, your comments, are you making a substitute motion? Or an adjustment or of any?
No, I'm just saying let's stick with the original one because as written, and because based on what the law says, we can make a resolution to change it at any point in time.
Okay.
If 6 months down the line, we want to change it.
So the original motion is the superintendent is going to be the person,
yeah,
and the
the
addendum was
superintendent,
just that we do
period.
this annually.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we don't have to do it repeatedly. We can call it up to do it if and when we feel necessary.
Thank you. That sounds like a clear path to me.
I do think technically, though, we have a request for a friendly amendment that was accepted by Ms. Baker. So unless you withdraw that or you want to keep your time frame, that's fine.
The only friendly amendment that we agreed upon was that the time limit would be till December 31st.
So that is technically what this board
That's
is
technically what is in the motion right
Yep.
now.
So that's what we're voting on now, is to include a time frame.
Matthew, did I miss your call for public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
did?
yeah.
Did you make a call for public comment?
I did make a call for
I'm
public
sorry.
comment.
Is it too late?
I'll give you 3 minutes, Ms. Barrios.
Okay, it probably won't take 3 minutes.
Okay.
I just want to clear up a few things, because I got interested in when the first board first became aware of these ITEPs. And the reason they became aware of it was because Governor Edwards made it so that the 3 local entities in every parish could make their own decision, because the money came from, depending on how much their taxes were. And obviously in this parish, the school board taxes are the highest. So, and each local entity could make a decision under Governor Edwards. So if the school board didn't want it, then we didn't lose any money. The sheriff could still vote for it and give his money away, and the parish council could. Okay, now it's changed because it's done by executive order, and the real agenda is to not really give locals a voice anymore. It's to develop economic development, which school board is not in the economic development business except to provide employees, educated employees. But anyway, I just don't believe it's appropriate, even though I don't believe it'll make any difference either. This is designed to take away the power of the locals. Still, your voice is always very important. And what if not only the school board, but the sheriff and the council decided they didn't want an ITEP? That might carry some weight. So I think all of you should be there it's an open meeting, to state your voice and to help the public understand. But I don't think it's appropriate for the superintendent to have that say, the public's going to look at it as though the superintendent is giving away our tax money. Each of you were elected by your tax-paying constituents. So I think each of you should consider that, okay? Even though each district won't be giving away taxes, it'll be the school board. That's why I just think that a member of the board or the president should be the main vote or the voice. So I just wanted to say that.
There he is. Okay, let's please vote. Well, it's for the superintendent to be the voting member and for that to only be for a year.
That's because you'd have to refresh your screen. It says it on my screen. Because it was a friendly amendment. I can close voting and reopen it, or you can just.
Are you making everybody vote again?
Uh-huh. Terry read it out loud for the resolution. She'll correct it tomorrow.
Yes, it should be December 31st, so you can take out the last part.
Ms. Hurstis, how would you like to vote? And then they wanted it refreshed, so they had the
Ms.
friendly
McCullum,
amendment.
I think you have to refresh your vote, maybe.
I need Ms. McCollum, Ms. Hurstis, and Mr. Bro.
Yeah.
She had to refresh the voting.
Now I need Ms. McCollum and Mr. Bro. Tell me yay or nay. Ms. McCollum?
Yes.
You were yay? Nine yeas, 4 nays.
And that motion carries 9 yeas, 4 nays, and 1 abstention?
Mr. Bro not present? What?
So 9 yeas, 5 yeas, right?
Let me revote that. Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Jabbia will serve as the voting member for at least 1 year. Next item is recommends acceptance of revisions to school board policy DJED, bids, requests for proposal, quotations for public works. Do I have a motion?
Ms. Baker?
Ms. Baker? Do I have a second? I'll second that motion. Items up on the floor for debate. Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Ms. Hirstius?
I just wanted to make a statement that I will vote nay against the law, that on the first paragraph, that we have to accept the lowest bid. That is why I am voting nay.
Any other comments? Okay, let's please vote.
Did yours pop up? Say your name. You. Or it just clicked. What would you?
And that motion carries 12 yeas, 2 nays. Next item is 3 minutes. Mr. Osborne?
Good evening, Board President Green, board members, Superintendent Jabbia, and staff. Could say a lot of things, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm asking the board for help. Our federation, which you've empowered with the CBA with some really good tools, in my 4.5 years, we've never had so many calls for service, and we're keeping up, but barely. So in asking for your help, I'm going to offer you some help. And if you saw the Super Bowl, which was one of the worst of all time, I kept watching that Chiefs line, which made to the Super Bowl, and you guys were the Chiefs line, and the Eagles are rushing 4 every time, and they're blowing up your quarterback. Every now and again, you're able to stop. So I think you need tools. It's like you guys need your own CBA, okay? Your CAPS, School Board Policy Manual, that's your CBA, but it's been written by forethought, crafted by superintendents of the past and present, and a board attorney that's kind of caught in the middle. So if you are not able to apply brakes, you're going to keep getting run over. In this room, think of it, it was like you were being sold a timeshare for the Amplify curriculum that Jim Breaux called garbage, prophetically. And it's actually turned out to be garbage if you ask teachers. And I suspect if we look at, test scores, it's going to be the same thing. And you drop $6 million on that. Now, some of you voted against it and it was close. The way the game is played, it doesn't matter how close it was. The board is judged as a whole. So you guys need tools to fight. I know you want to fight, but you don't know how to fight as a unit. You're like the New Orleans Saints. They have some great great people on there. They just can't put it together. So they made some changes to try to do that. So just really briefly, I recommend, and look, to help you, I put together a group called the Policy Wonks. It's similar to the Budget Hawks. They're going to look at board policies around the state, offer recommendations. This is not just union members. It's open to all, including some members of the public. Looking at bringing in some people that have written policy before. And again, it's about giving you the tools to slow things down so you can do your job. You guys are oversight. The union is insight. And we've gotten really good and gotten really good information. We just need y'all to be able to exercise your authority. I recommend you get your own attorney. I don't have time to get into the details, but when you have one attorney caught in the middle, when there's tension, that's conflict of interest. You need an outlet. You need a second opinion. I also recommend, as I did last week, an audit of the risk management department, but I also think you need an audit of HR. Bring in an HR consulting group to evaluate all of your HR written and unwritten policies. Folks, there are an enormous amount of unwritten policies. Just briefly, this is Miss Christina. She's going to speak next.
Thank you, sir. We got it.
All right. If
Christina Kukulu is next.
If you pray she gets to this, that she finds the Chiefs Habit 8, finds your voice. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Christina Kikuya, and I have served this parish as a paraprofessional for the past 5 years. I love my job, I love my students, but now I am being forced out, not because I failed, but because I was injured. In October of 2020, I was hurt at my previous school site due to unsafe equipment, an unstable table that was never meant for changing students. My teacher and I repeatedly warned our principal and occupational therapist, fearing the student would be hurt. Our concerns were ignored. The only solution we were given, a foam mat. Then one day that table cost me my shoulder. Even after my injury, I kept warning that it was unsafe. My principal told me, if you ever bring up that or mention that table to anyone, you will be burned. I was threatened into silence, told that if I spoke up, both my job and my husband's job could be at risk. For years, I endured pain and abuse from an administrator who was protected by a system I once trusted. 2 years ago, I finally transferred to a new school, a place where I felt safe, respected, and valued. I saw myself working there for the rest of my career. This summer, I had surgery to repair my shoulder. I am still healing, but I am being told that my last day is Friday. If my restrictions don't change, restrictions that are permanent. I have done this job exceptionally well, even with an injury, but now I am being discarded like so many other paras before me, injured on the job and then pushed out. I refuse to stay silent. I am here tonight because this must stop. Paras deserve better. I deserve better. Please let me keep the job I love. Please let me keep the job I love. Thank you.
Lee Barrios.
Lee Barry's retired teacher. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of school librarians who provided me with relevant data and concerns that they wanted me to share with the board. What is a librarian worth? In 2012, 13 years ago, many librarians began having to share schools. In other words, one librarian would be responsible for more than one school. So those schools only had a part-time librarian. At that same time, some assistant principals and counselors also had to share schools. But within 5 years, all the APs and the counselors returned full-time, serving single schools. Also, MHPs became full-time and SROs were hired at every school. In the past few years, nurses have become full-time at every school, then SWEETL positions were created. In May of 2023, the Federation Library Action Committee met with Superintendent Jabbia, central office staff, and several school board members. At that time, there were over 3 pages of classroom teacher vacancies to be filled. In the past year, Mr. Alfonso has boasted that many of those vacancies have been filled, although many of them were OFATs and TATs. And yet, 16 K through 12 schools, including Title I schools, are still without full-time librarians. Abita Middle, Abney Early Childhood, Alton, Bayou Lacombe, Bayou Woods, Brock, Carolyn Park, Chattaima, Folsom Jr., Little Pearl, Madisonville Jr., Magnolia Trace, Mandeville Jr., Mont Leon Jr., Pitcher Jr., and 6th Ward Elementary. As was discussed last week, recent legislation was approved to increase literacy with the new mandate that 3rd graders who don't pass a literacy assessment will either attend summer school or be held back. Why are our libraries and librarians not considered as prime venues with certified teachers to help our children and our district improve literacy? I will send all school board members more information and concerns for the upcoming transfer fair and how certified librarians are available in our system, but may not have a fair opportunity to be placed in libraries. It's time for the school board to place these concerns on the agenda again and to get input from our librarians, our classroom teachers for whom librarians provide services, and our parents, many of whom may not be aware of this serious deficiency in what used to be the highest performing large school district in the state.
The schools will be closed March 3rd through 7th for the Mardi Gras holidays. The central office and sites will be closed March 3rd through the 5th. The March Committee as a whole meeting will be held on Thursday, March 13th at 6 p.m. in Covington. The March Board meeting will be held on Thursday, March 20th in Covington, and the Student of the Years will be recognized at this meeting. Students of the Year. Please remember to check board docs for the 25-26 meeting schedule. An executive session has been requested pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 42:7A2 to discuss the following matters. Do I have a motion? Mr. Bro, do I have a second? Ms. Hanson, thank you. We're now in executive session, so, excuse me, there's some public comment. Board comment? Public?
I've never seen a screen with no icons on it like that. Pull that down. Yeah, look at that. Mine's full of them. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks. So we are in executive session, so we'll, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we do need to vote on that, don't we? Getting a little ahead of myself. All those in favor of going into executive session, please vote aye. All those opposed, nay. We are in executive session.